living under duress. And guys, it is officially Texas Hate Week. And living in Austin has not stopped me one bit. There's a guy in my office who's a Texas alum, and trust me, I've been giving it to him all last. So hopefully we'll be able to give it to him. Exactly. We'll be able to give it to him on the field. So let's go around the horn. Who do we have this week?
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Ash from the stands. Glad to be here tonight, and everything's always fun. Roll Tide again. I've got another challenge this weekend. Prediction: Bama 62, Southern Miss -8.
Up in Dallas, Dick, what do you got?
Hey, gig 'em. Dick here from Dallas. Let's fucking get into it, guys.
Let's go. Hey, before we get started, I do have to give one shout to our man behind the curtain, Caleb, who's our producer. So all the graphics, the transitions, and everything that looks good is definitely a credit to him. And anything that looks bad, go ahead and put that on us here. So, guys, let's get into it, man. Week 3, I didn't think it was going to be a great slate of games. We kind of talked about that a lot last week. Just nothing really jumped off the page. But I think, in my opinion, we were really treated stellar finishes. And, you know, the Iowa State-Iowa game was wild, like we thought it was going to be, so off the wall. Florida State had a crazy finish there at the end. And then, you know, the real treat of a snuff film there in UCLA. Was that had to have been a tear. That may have been one of the worst games I've ever seen. Just looking at the stadium and just how far they fall, So, Ash, which one of those stuck out to you?
Yeah, I mean, the easy pick here, and because I get to go first, is Iowa State, Iowa. Got a lot of friends and contacts in that neck of the woods, a lot of alumni friends and everything like that, and I hated for them because I'm not sure what the hell that was. I mean, really. I mean, the game started at like something like 11 a.m., and then it ended at something like 4 mean Greenwich time. I'm not sure. And in between, all kinds of hijinks ensued. I mean, you got the ice storm or hailstorm or whatever they call that.
Yep.
And then just the mere fact that Iowa State just found a way to lose at home.
Snatched defeat from the jaws of victory.
God, it's unfathomable. But, you know, that's it. What I've learned is that the Big Ten is going to be between Ohio State and Michigan. Iowa's not going to be a factor there, okay? And the Iowa State idea that they're going to be a competitor in the Big 12, take that off, man. That's out. That's what I've got for the El Assico. It was peak terrible football.
Yeah. Hey, Dick, sit up a little bit taller in your chair there and tell us what you thought about Iowa State.
And eat all your veggies.
Yeah.
I mean, we were very close to NIU having a transit victory over Iowa, who I think we all took for a good team this year. As much as people want to dog on the SEC for having a down year, I really, really, really think with Michigan and Iowa's performances so far in the year, I mean, who do we have as an up-and-comer right now in that conference? Maryland? I mean, it's
killed.
That Temple loss.
They had 2 fucking points at halftime against Temple.
Unreal. Yeah. And that was a team that, you know, they were pumping in, temporary bleachers. That bandwagon was bogging down. And I don't even know if anybody's on it anymore. That's intense. And then you had, you know, the Florida State game. Florida State had a chance to win. I'll give credit, though. The Virginia quarterback, who you got for me over there, Ash? Gosh, Bryce Perkins.
Yeah, Perkins. Yeah.
What an incredible job he did there in the fourth quarter. That his run there on that 2-point conversion, I thought was great. I think Virginia did deserve to win that game. I think they played better, but when you look at that clock mismanagement there at the very end, Florida State gets a first down right there on the goal line, and the clock doesn't stop. It probably had like 4 seconds runs off of it. You know, you can't say that was the difference between winning and losing, but, you know, you hate to see a team not get a legitimate shot to win it there.
For me, the biggest surprise of that game is that not only did we have some clock mismanagement with North Carolina earlier in the week, but that the ACC would allow it to happen again later that same week. I mean, are we going to have to start calling the ACC the worst officiated conference in the game right now.
I think every conference thinks theirs is the worst official.
They are, and the guys down in Columbia last week that called the Alabama-South Carolina game will ask you to hold their beers, please. All right, which apparently they were drinking during the game. I mean, they booted an Alabama player who's like a third stringer for the first half of this next game, which he would probably have started. I don't know, it's confusing, but they booted him out and for a targeting, which was not and didn't meet the definition or whatever. So, back to the ACC though. I mean, that combined with the North Carolina Wake thing on Friday night, I believe it was. Man, I'm just like, I don't know who has the worst officiating, but the ACC's making a run for it.
For sure.
Well, as long as we're talking about terrible officiating, if we take a small left turn into worst commentating, I mean, Kentucky, Florida, with Brian Greasy. Christ,
Beth wasn't on that one. I know she's on
the apple not only falls far from the tree, sometimes it just lands in the damn ocean. I mean, it just that's his father was excellent and it isn't proud of the job that Brian's doing.
And my heart truly goes out to Kentucky. They fought to the very, very end. It seems like God's keeping them from beating Florida 2 years in a row.
So holy divination, what's divine interventions happening there, I guess.
I mean, who knew that Terry Wilson had I don't even know, the second coming of Tom Brady on the bench who just decided to come alive in the second half.
Yeah.
I mean, it was incredible. And then, it was worth putting up with Brian Greasy the whole game.
Hated losing Felipe Franks in that, though. That guy was kind of rolling a little bit this year, and feel like maybe they were going to give Florida the best run for their money outside of Florida. Georgia should just go ahead and drive the 75 miles to Atlanta. They're going to be in Atlanta. Yeah,
I said after the Florida-Miami game, I'd made the comment that I thought Felipe was pretty unlikable, and I just wasn't a fan. But, even still, you don't want to see a guy get injured like that and have to be to lose a season over an injury. You want, if anything, you want him to, be outplayed or get benched or something like that. Maybe, but definitely don't. You hate to see you lose a guy.
Yep. Hey guys, got to pay some bills right here and everything. So we appreciate everybody so far that's made this thing happen and making it economically viable as well. We're getting rich, dog. All right. So here we are. So social media. All right. Hit us up on Facebook. Hit us up on Twitter. Hit us up on Twitch, YouTube, and probably some other places, but not Instagram because it's bad for marriage in America. That's it. Definitely look us up though. Okay. From the stands is what you're looking for in those places. Okay. Thanks a lot, guys.
Hey guys, you might know him from the subreddit. This is MoneyManeVick. Welcome to the show. Vic, you've got a post every week. You're tracking the hottest seats in America. And I'm not talking about concerts or football games. We're talking about bad coaches. So why don't you tell us real quick, who do you have as your hot seat? Who's got the hottest seat in America right now?
For having me on the show. There's three guys to really focus in on this week. One who I would say has the hottest seat in the country right now is Clay Helton out at USC. As you know, last year going 5-7 at USC, that just quite frankly can't happen at USC.
Unforgivable.
We thought he was about to turn the corner, get things going right after a good win at Stanford 2 weeks ago. And then last week we see him lose in overtime at BYU. Hey, I get it. He lost JT Daniels week 1 to a season-ending injury, but at the end of the day, you got to win when you're at Southern California.
Absolutely.
So I think he's got a very hot seat. It doesn't help
teams.
Yeah,
exactly. Doesn't help that his AD has left, so a new AD will be coming in, likely to bring in some fresh blood. And then they got a really good top 10 Utah team next week, which I think is a must-win for Clay Helton to at least show some confidence back to the Trojan faithful there. And I think in order for him to keep his job this year, he's got to go 9-3 at a minimum. That still might not be good enough, but that's going to include either winning the Pac-12 South or beating Notre Dame.
So do you think that making it to the Pac-12 championship game is going to be enough for him to keep his, regardless of the record?
Close. I think it's going to be coming down to whoever comes in as an AD, any sort of promise that he shows next year. I think it helps. He's got a nice true freshman quarterback that actually played really well against Stanford, showed some struggles against BYU, but a lot of momentum to potentially bring into next season.
Yeah, so let's speculate wildly. They win 8 games. Clay Helton goes. Who do you think is the top candidate for that USC?
I think it'll be Urban Meyer.
What?
I just
Holy
have
shit.
a strange feeling it will be. I mean, you have to look at who he's sitting with every weekend on the Fox segments. Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush. The minute that job opens up, you bet that they're going to be doing everything they can to convince him to take that job. And I just think it's going to happen.
You look at the reasons why he left Florida, why he left Ohio State, just the pressures of having to recruit and win and coach at those levels. Do you think that he's going to want to go into a situation where the last guy who maybe won 8 games or 9 games still got fired? Do you think he's going to want to get himself back into that kind of scenario?
You can say about Urban Meyer is he's won everywhere he's been at. He won at Utah. True. He won at Florida. He won at Ohio State.
Yes, he
did.
I
would say arguably USC pretty much recruits itself. I mean, it's one of the best jobs in the country in fabulous Los Angeles. Great place to live.
May I interject a key point here? It is, however, different from Ohio State and Utah and Florida in that it's a private school. Yeah. And I think that the only challenge Urban Meyer might have right there is getting Lori McLaughlin on board to be able to get some of those guys that don't really qualify to get them qualified to play for the Trojans. So, we'll see how it goes for him, but that's a good pick for that job, though.
A couple of teams that may not be qualified for Power 5 conferences are facing off this week. Tell me a little bit about Boston College and Rutgers.
The next 2 coaches that I would focus on this week in a hot seat bowl per se, Steve Adazio probably wouldn't have been on this list a week ago, but then Kansas comes to town and not only beats them at home, but beats them pretty convincingly.
They sprung right for that Big 12.
Rock chalk, right?
Les Miles making an early impact already. I guess.
We said this early in the year. This is the great case study in what can an elite coach do for a bad program.
Yeah.
And the embarrassment of losing to Kansas at home. What happens if they turn around and lose to Rutgers?
You'll just have to go to Twitter and you'll see all the memes there. It'll be a bad situation for Adazio. 7-win seed, what they call up in Chestnut Hill. It'll be bad. It's just, you got to think about it this way. His whole tenure's been defined by being just around average. Never that good, but never that bad. Constantly getting 7 games, going to a bowl game, but never really getting any big wins. But I would say this loss against Kansas is probably the biggest blemish so far in his tenure up there. And it might have some guys really thinking if he's the right guy if they go and lose to Rutgers, who would be maybe even worse than Kansas.
Let's see how Kansas does the rest of the way. That's the only thing I'd say about this. They might be that 8-win team that comes out of nowhere, and all of a sudden the loss doesn't look quite so bad.
As long as one of those wins aren't against Oklahoma State, they can win. They can go 11-1.
That's why I said 8. I assume they lose 4 times to Oklahoma State. Yeah.
The same season. Awesome. MoneyManeVick, you check out his column every week on the subreddit. Get your fill. Tell us one thing that you're looking forward to this week as opposed to last week as far as, do you think that we are going to see a coaching change before the season is over?
Right now, I would say if any coaching change before the season's over, I would say Clay Helton at USC, but I still think they're going to have him finish out the year. I'd say, it's really hard to tell. I think Chris Ash is another candidate who could be out before the season ends. Just again, they just have not improved a single bit since he got there. And I get it; they're in the toughest division in college football, or one of them at least. But at the end of the day, you got to win. So we'll see what happens, but definitely monitor those situations.
Awesome.
Not Willie Taggart is what you're saying. You think he just glides all the way to the end?
No. Hey, we're going to bring you back in the show here in a minute to talk Billy. So thanks for coming on. Vic, we'll see you here in a few minutes, and thanks again.
Got it.
All right, noon shots and chasers. Let's get it started. Dick, what do you have for us?
So for me, let me preface it by saying we had a segment that we cut called Dick's Circle Jerk, where I just I wrote someone in the
family show
that deserves it, that everyone's jumping on the bandwagon for. We scrapped it, but if we still had this segment, it would be Cal. I'm sorry I don't respect the team that beats UC Davis by 2 scores.
Guys, I think if there's one thing we can agree on about Cal, it's that the University of North Texas has arrived. They beat UNT by a touchdown, and now they're ranked. So I think
and if there's one thing we can agree on about Ole Miss is that they can't agree on their mascot.
So
that's all
I'm
I got
sorry,
about the Rebels.
To answer your question, my shot is Cal and Ole Miss, and I think Cal's going to come back down to earth against, to Ash's point, the Rebel, Land Sharks, Black
Bears, Watermelon. I don't know what they are now.
Yeah, whatever the fuck they call themselves in Oxford nowadays.
They are the 6-6 SEC team that derails everything you're trying to do and then loses the next week against UC Davis. I mean, that's what they did.
I'm well aware. I remember when we were ranked 8th in the second college football playoff ranking. So I know the destructive power that Ole Miss has. I mean, aside from hookers and Pang and Dominican Sue, I'm aware. What was it, Dominican Sue? No,
he went to Nebraska, but it was one of those guys with complicated names. But it doesn't matter. That guy now, he's at Jerry Falwell University. Consider that done now. Okay?
Yeah. So I'm aware of the powers that Ole Miss has. I think they're going to really have Cal's going to have a bad night. Their fans are going to be disappointed. They're going to have all the confidence in the world, and they're just going to leave with nothing. I think Cal's the kind of team that other teams will play down to. Joke's on them because Ole Miss is the fucking floor. No one plays worse than they do.
Oh, that's great. Yeah,
they're 1-2 on the season, so apparently there's someone. I mean, Arkansas. You got Arkansas.
Yeah, it really is. It's put up or shut up time for Cal. So I'm interested to see how they play up to a better opponent, and hoping that we can see something from one of these two teams that either justifies Cal's ranking or gets Ole Miss back into the conversation for a bowl game. All right, Chasers, who do we have here? Tell me about the game on Fox here. Nick, Ash.
This thing's pretty big to me. Washington, I love the Pac-12. Michigan and Wisconsin. Okay, so the Badgers are hosting the Wolverines. So that's kind of like it's kind of like a zoo class. If you put a Badger and a Wolverine together, that'd be a pretty interesting fight. They're two pretty aggressive animals. Unfortunately, this one, the end zone will be the place visited the least. Okay, I just think that both Michigan.
Typical Big Ten matchup, right?
Typical Big Ten. Yeah, it's physical in the trenches. I don't know, man. The speed kills thing. They're killed by it. So
what's set an over/under for me? What do you think the line's going to be here?
Line on it. You asked over/under first. Yeah, I would have to say an over/under on this thing right here. I'm not looking at it at all. 19.
I'll take the over on that.
I'm not kidding. 19.
I'll take the over on 19. What do you think?
Let me talk about Michigan, though, because I mentioned them earlier, and the fact that I think they're one of the 2 teams in the Big Ten that are really legitimate.
That hate America.
They do. Michigan and their lovely khakis wearing coach. I mean, they're in a place where they can win this all the way through. I think they're probably the second best team in the Big Ten, and I think they're strong enough to beat everybody else in there. But Wisconsin, who went down to South Florida, we all know how they decimated the Bulls. That was impressive on TV and everything. But I don't think Wisconsin really is as dynamic as they looked that night. South Florida sucks. Okay, so Michigan wins this one. I'm gonna give them a field goal on it, and literally that's the only thing that scored all night, 3-zip.
I mean, we're really gonna know which year of Washington we have coming up here soon. If
I knew you were gonna bring it back up.
I mean, Wisconsin's kind of like the Auburn for the Big Ten, and I'm shocked I haven't heard that before. But they have good years and they have bad years. They had an awful year last year. I mean, they're playing Michigan, who got into a shootout with Army, which ended with a combined score of 45. So I think that 19-point line might be a little generous.
Double overtime, if I'm recalling correctly.
Yeah, let me check that really quick.
Yeah, defense had to come up.
I know it went to at least one, but I mean, we'll see really I see Michigan probably pulling it out here.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I do too. I haven't seen Michigan play a complete game yet. Like I just haven't seen them put it together. I think this is going to be a really big week for Michigan if they want to build any momentum going into the rest of this season, especially with Ohio State there at the end of the year. They've really got to show something right now. I'm not big on swaying the polls, especially in week 4. I think if you just go out and win your games, the polls will take care of themselves. But I just haven't seen enough from Michigan as a complete team to really give me confidence that they're going to be able to put it all together and make a playoff run.
Yeah, I want to give some love back to Michigan. I have tremendous respect for that program and everything that they stand for through the years. I mean, they've the legends that have walked those sidelines. The last time that Alabama played them, we ran them out of Dallas. But the time before that, Tom Brady beat us in the Orange Bowl. Okay, so Michigan is legitimate as far as major college. Major should be in the top 10, no question.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. They're going to have to get a lot of growth before the Ohio State game.
Yeah, buckle up for this. This is my Michigan rant. Okay, so Michigan is currently where they were historically during the Lloyd Carr years. Okay, Harbaugh brought them back from they were winning 500. They were a 500 team with Rich Rod and Brady Hoke at best, and Harbaugh has brought them back to where fans are legitimately bitching about a 10-win season. Are you kidding me?
The expectations in Ann Arbor.
Well, the problem is that Ohio State has just risen to this level that is just above Michigan. Michigan can't get past that. And I think there's a lot of Michigan fans that don't appreciate how big of a jump there is from being a top 7 to 10 or 15 program to being a top 4 program. It's not impossible. You saw Clemson make that jump here in the last 6 years. But I really do think that the Michigan fans need to come back down to earth. This could be their year. It may not be, though. But I think that the last thing we need to see right now is people calling for Hart's head.
Yeah, well, right. I think you're really coming from any perspective here as an Oklahoma State fan. You really know what it's like to have your rival year in and year out just put you into the pavement, grind you to fine powder.
Easy, Dick. You want to talk about 2011 A&M?
You hold your fucking tongue now.
Signing off for the night.
All right. Hey, what do you guys say we get into some last chance use?
Oh, let's do it.
All right. This is the segment called Last Chance Use. So we're talking about teams that need to win this week in order to save their chance for a bowl game, or teams that need to win this week to save their coach's job. So let's look at Florida State and Louisville. Dick, where do you see this game going?
Right in the fucking dumpster.
Brutal. Hey, let's welcome back MoneyManeVick. Thanks for joining us again. Talk to me about this game and what it means for Willie Taggart. That's Willie with 1 W and 2 L's. What do you think this means for Florida State's coach?
Most cases, I think coaches should get 3 years to build their system, get their players in. But I would say Taggart is probably as much as on the hot seat as you can be for being in year 2 with a $17 million buyout. You can just tell week in, week out, this team just is poorly coached. It all started week 1, blowing a big lead against Boise State, almost losing to UL Monroe at home, and then blowing away what could have been a very winnable game at Virginia last week. So I think, you look at the schedule, they still got Florida, they got Clemson, and this Louisville team is a very improved team this year with new coach Scott Satterfield. So I think Willie's going to have to turn it around quick, or else he could be gone very soon than a lot more people think.
What went wrong? The Willie Taggart Oregon teams were not bad teams, and I feel like there's not as big of a drop off athlete wise and recruit wise. So what do you think? What is it he just not able to put together there in Florida State?
It's hard to really pinpoint one particular thing. I see discipline as one thing. I just see it's like he just hasn't had a chance to really establish a culture. Obviously they have a lot of talent there. Cam Akers, one of the best running backs in the country, and just look at all the high-ranked recruits they have on the roster. Just no sense how they can go up to Charlottesville with a bunch of 2 stars and guys that aren't even in the database. Just take it to them, and even more so than UL Monroe.
Brutal on Virginia.
Guys. Well, I'm a Virginia Tech guy, so.
There it is. All right. On the other side of that, Louisville, Dick, tell me about this Louisville schedule, and they do have to play Clemson, they have to play Virginia, they have to go to Miami, and go to NC State. Do you think that this game, sitting at 2-1, this game is going to really dictate whether or not they're going to be able to make a bowl this year?
I mean, when you're looking at this game from 1,000 feet in the air, talk about a tale of two programs.
Sure.
Here you have Florida State, who thought they had the guy, and we're only 14, 15 games in, and that's very clearly not the case. Whereas with Scott Satterfield, he's 3 games into his contract, and I mean, this is it. Louisville, for the first time, at least as long as I've been watching them, without Lamar Jackson, that is, feels like they have hope. They have a coach that they're going to play for. At the end of the day, I do think that this game is going to be an absolute vital game for them if they want to make a bowl, and Scott Satterfield really wants to set the tempo for his program.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, with the way that the ACC is set up, if they drop this one, I'm sure they could pick up another one against North Carolina or Wake Forest or someone else ridiculous along the way.
Yeah, so let's look at, I think that there were some really good flashes of promise in that Notre Dame game. They lost that one 35-17. So they've got 2 wins. So we need to find 4 wins on the schedule. Let's just go through them real quick. Vic, Dick, I like that. We might bring that one back. Tell me just real quick, Florida State, do you think this is a win for Louisville? Yes or no?
Yeah.
I think they get it done.
Okay, so there's one. BC, I think we can all agree that's a win.
If you lose to Kansas, you're losing to Louisville. I'm sorry.
Yeah, at Wake, do you think there's a win there? Maybe 50-50?
Yeah.
I think so. I think what I've seen from the Wake team this year, Jamie Newman at quarterback, they've got a really good offense, really good defense. They're going to be a big-time sleeper in the ACC outside of Clemson, who's just head and shoulders above the rest.
For all intents and purposes, let's call it a loss. Then they have to play Clemson. I'm saying that's a loss. They have to play Virginia. I'm saying that's a loss. And then they go to Miami. Do you think that's a win or a loss?
Honestly, I think we're a little bit too early to be able to tell right now. Miami did not play the best against Florida, which really has been their biggest game so far. I'd like to see them a little bit more. At this point, the way Louisville played against Notre Dame, which is the only game of theirs I've caught so far, I want to say that they have a better chance against Miami to win than lose, but I'd have to see a little bit more.
So we'll call it 50-50. We'll say it's a win. I think at NC State and Syracuse and Kentucky, you very well could lose all 3 of those games. You might be able to steal one of those. If Louisville can't pull off the win against Florida State, really we're only looking at BC, Miami, and then maybe one of the 3 between NC State, Syracuse, and University of Kentucky. That only gets them to 5 wins, just highlighting how important this game really is. Vic, final thoughts on this Louisville, Florida State game?
It would be a very sloppy game, as all of Willie Taggart's games have been while he's been at Florida State. But I think one thing to look out for is Puma Pass, starting quarterback for Louisville. He's really looked a lot better this year under Satterfield. As we saw, he struggled last year, but I think this will be a key game to watch to see what the Louisville offense will do.
Yeah. Hey, thanks again for joining us, man. Again, you guys can check out MoneyManeVick's Hot Seat Coach's Hot Seat Watch every single week in the subreddit. Thanks for joining us, man. It's been a real pleasure. Really hope to have you back on the show.
For having me, guys. All
right. Hey, that was Last Chance U, so let's bring it back. Hey, guys, you can follow us all throughout the week on our Twitter feed, From the Stands US. Follow us on Facebook. Definitely hit that subscribe button on YouTube. And do us a favor. If you actually like or enjoy what we're talking about, recommend this show to a friend. We always appreciate the interaction. Love to have more of it. And, if you're out there creating content and want to come share it with the world, just like MoneyManeVick just did, we want to have you on the show and just share what you guys are doing with the community. So let's get back into it. 3:30 shots and chasers. Ash, lead us off, man. Talk to me.
Yeah, man. So 3:30. I got to be honest. I mean, I know so little about Wyoming and Tulsa. I could find them on a U.S. map. So if either of you guys got something for me here on this, I know Wyoming had a big win over Missouri. Does that count? What do you got?
Dick, your dark horse team in the G5. You've been riding high that Wyoming Cowboy Scout.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm a little bit shaken about a 5-point victory over Idaho, but hey,
well, I'm gonna stop you right there, man.
It's a rivalry game. Things happen. A&M always plays Arkansas close. Disregard it. It's noise. Alpha.
In that gymnasium down at the high school they used to play in, or what?
Don't you dare talk bad about the Kibby Dome. That place is a treasure.
Oh, dude.
Okay,
to all 11
teams
here.
You know what? I did watch Tulsa play last week. They had strung together one really good quarter against the offensive prowess of Oklahoma State. They got shut out in the second half. Are they even going to be able to put together? You know, I do like Wyoming in this game just because I was able to see firsthand Tulsa just doesn't have the horses to string together a full game. Wyoming, the Cowboys are nothing but horses, right? Dark horses there in your G5.
There we go.
Dick, with fabulous hairstyles.
Do you really think Wyoming can be the G5 representative in the New Year's?
I mean, we're gonna take a look in November and see if they beat Boise. But I don't want to say it's gonna be an easy W because it's G5. Things happen. We'll see. Sure. I don't see any reason why Wyoming, the way they've played so far this year, should lose to Tulsa. I don't see any reason why they should lose to any team along the way until they hit Boise. Yeah. Which, when you look at it, Boise only beat Marshall by 1 touchdown. They've played a lot of teams close. Florida State's basically a G5 team at this point. They only won by a few points there.
Cut.
If Wyoming runs the table, which I think they have a good probability of doing outside of Boise State, they probably don't have as good a resume as, let's say, UCF. Sure. If they were to do the same thing. But I do think there's at least going to be conversation, right?
Ash turning the bottle all the way up, man. You know you're on camera, right?
Well, here's the issue. We've spent an inordinate amount of time talking about football in the state of Idaho. And
it just drives right to the bottom.
When did the upper mountain region of the United States become the epicenter of college football discussion?
Dude, have you ever punted a ball at 1,000 feet?
Great point. Touche.
You know what? You've got a really valid point. So in the spirit of that, let's keep it in the upper mountain region and talk to you guys about the 3:30 chaser on ABC. This is Washington at BYU. And guys, I gotta admit, BYU has impressed me this year since the poo-poo game at Utah.
And played a good first half, FYI.
They really did play. And so I like BYU. I think BYU, got a great win against USC. I think they go into Washington. I think they're going to turn some heads and really kind of flip the whole script on the Pac-12 having so many ranked teams. I like BYU in this game. Ash, what do you think?
Man, I tell you what, I'll take the side of it, actually. I mean, it's a funny thing with BYU. They come down here to Knoxville. I kind of thought they'd beat Tennessee because of the way Tennessee looked the week before against Georgia State, not Georgia Tech, not Georgia Southern, not Georgia,
not even
Georgia State, not even them. So I was a little bit surprised that BYU actually, a little bit surprised at where they are because I didn't expect this at the beginning of the year. But what do I know about Brigham Young, right? So 2-1 right now. I would not say they could be 3-0, but they gave Utah the run for their money in the first half. I mean, let's go with the Cougars. Let's go with the Cougars.
I dig it.
Yeah.
All right, man. I see you sitting over there just ready to jump on us on this game. What else in that 3:30 slot sticks out to you there, Mr. SEC?
I mean, as fun as it is talking about Wyoming, and I understand we have to we're obligated to mention BYU for our Mormon audience out there. Love you guys. A&M Auburn.
I should have done that for the Notre Dame game. Sorry.
My Aggies against the fucking Auburn War Eagles Tigers, whatever the fuck they call themselves. Almost as bad as Ole Miss. Actually, no. Can you take that back? Ole Miss is the new Auburn.
You can't say fuck.
You just said it.
Why the fuck not?
Carry on.
Anyway.
Make up your mind, Auburn. Are you a Tiger? Are you an Eagle? Are you a real football team this year?
They are not a top 10 team. I will stand by them as much as Cal that they are ranked way too high.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I think Bo Nix is a freshman. He's a good freshman, but he's still a freshman. I think when he goes into a real SEC stadium with real crowd noise. And, I mean, as much as I'm going to hear every freaking person in the world saying tomorrow. Well, we're filming on Thursday, so when you're seeing this tomorrow, as much as I'm going to hear everybody say that
tonight the bottle let me down.
Time to top off. As much as I'm going to hear every fucking commentator say tomorrow that, the home team lost the series up until last year, and they better freaking win. You know what I mean? We need to flip that script back to where we're alternating every year and splitting that series like we have. When I'm looking at A&M's schedule, Alabama's almost a guaranteed loss. LSU, until very, very, very recently at 7 overtimes, was a guaranteed loss.
Game just ended last week, by the way.
Some say they're still playing that game.
Some say they are.
When I look at it, we really only have 3 games on the schedule every year in the SEC. We have Mississippi State, Ole Miss, as much as that sucks, and then we have Auburn.
Yeah.
So if we don't beat Auburn, then what are we doing? 2 of our wins are automatic.
Yeah, this is where I think the SEC West gets really interesting as the top teams start to play each other. It just paints the much clearer picture of. I mean, this is the same as the Big Ten East, right?
Mm-hmm.
Waiting for these teams to play each other so we can get a little bit of clarity. Dick, you'll be happy to know. I really do think that A&M could be the team out of the West. But man, if they're not going to have to fight for it, and they just didn't show me what they were capable of against Clemson. But the great thing is, it was Clemson.
It's Clemson.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the Death Star, and to me, I think that Auburn, because of the fact that this is an odd year and things are just kind of going their way. You guys saw the Oregon game. Things are just kind of going their way. I mean, I'm so sorry, Dick. I'm going to go with Auburn, and also because before we started this whole season up, I had Auburn representing the West in Atlanta. So I think that they win this one, but I do think they lose one along the way. It just won't be in College Station this week.
Just get on the record that Ash is a fake Alabama fan?
Not. If you need to see my degree, you can. But
okay.
Actually, don't know where it's at. But regardless, Auburn will win this weekend in College Station. And look, the rails don't need to be lined up for Jimbo Fisher because he loses to Auburn. He will have lost to Clemson. He will have lost to Auburn. Okay, that's 2 freaking top teams, and one of them is the greatest team in the known universe right now. The guy's a great coach. He's building it. They're going to be good. You guys could still get to 10 wins, but it's going to be tough with that schedule.
And I'm right there with you, but at the same time, again, I do think Bo Nix is a freshman. I don't see the firepower in that offense. That I think Oregon was overrated going into the season. I think they're overrated going into every season. I think we're going to learn a lot about Auburn this weekend. I think Bo Nix is going to be overwhelmed. This is his first SEC game, right?
Yes, it is. On the road.
Yeah.
But let me say this before I sign off. The difference between Bo Nix and Kellen Mond, one is a freshman, the other one plays like one. So had to get that in. Love you, Kellen. If you see this, I'm sorry, but Clemson's rough.
Friend of the show, Kellen Mond.
Friend of the show, Kellen Mond. Absolutely.
Could be a low-scoring affair. Look for that. But both teams could finish under 24 points, I think.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, definitely want to look forward to, another thing that happened this week, guys. I don't know if you caught this or not. We've got the clip. We're going to go ahead and play it for you guys now. Mike Leach, the man is a national treasure. I feel like the reporters up in the Northwest have caught on to this, and he was asked a very simple question: who would win in a battle royale against Pac-12 mascots? Let's go ahead and roll it now.
First of all, what kind of mythical powers does a Sun Devil have? We got to consider that. I'm going to say the Wildcat's out. The Trojan, does he have a horse or is he on foot? Does he have a bow and arrow or just his sword? The Bruin, definitely formidable. Another bear up there at Cal. The tree, I imagine that tree's going to get chopped down. Unless we're going to go with the bird and somebody might get pecked or something, I don't know. The duck might lose interest and just fly away and get out of there, which may be good advice under the circumstances. The husky, no chance. The beaver, we'll see how long that beaver can hold his breath. The Ute, again, we're back to, is he on horseback? Does he have a bow and arrow? Did he trade for a rifle? I mean, because if that Ute's got a rifle, there's some definite problems. You'd have to get one of those Harry Potter activists to read up on how you kill a sun devil, because there's a lot of outside stuff there. As far as a beast alone, a buffalo's going to be pretty hard to tangle with. I mean, a buffalo's utterly outstanding. Did I leave any of them out? The Coug will find a way. Clear-minded and crafty, a combination of stay out of harm's way and attack when you get your chances or your openings.
Some Mike Leach. This is one of my favorite things. I loved it so much. Here's what we're gonna do. All right, this week we're gonna, in Mike Leach fashion, we're gonna start in the Pac-12. I don't like doing that, so let's get it out of the way. We're gonna go over the next 5 weeks. We're gonna pick one mascot from each of the Power Five, and we're gonna talk, and then we're gonna pit them all together. We're gonna do this every week for the next 5 weeks, and then at the end we're gonna have one representative from all the Power Five, and we're gonna really talk this out. So there's a couple rules we need to put into place. I think we do the on-field mascot. I don't want to get into this ethereal debate. You saw Mike do it where he's talking about what kind of colors does the Sun Devil have? I'm talking about the guy in the plush suit, okay? And then on the flip side of that, Colorado, they don't have a guy in a plush suit. They have a big freaking buffalo on the field. All right, so that's my only rule for this. So let's talk.
It's a very lean meat, I understand.
Yeah, let's talk it out. What are you guys thinking here in the Pac-12? Talk to me about your pick for the mascot battle royale. Talk to me, Dick.
Oh God! I mean, when you're taking them at their face value, I don't know how you beat the USC Trojan.
Yeah, I mean, Traveler,
trained, ready for combat. He's armed. He's got some shit on him to.
Yeah.
It's
a skirt with boots, so it's a little weird, but it's okay because he's got that sword and stuff.
He's got a sword, and he has a horse, so he can get around.
Boom.
So, I think if you're looking at this from a practical standpoint, we can pretty much take out all of the mesh, all of the plush costume mascots, right? So Wilbur and Wilma, the Wildcats at Arizona, they have a little tag team thing going, so that might play to their advantage. But really, I think the Pac-12, and correct me if I'm wrong, I know some of you guys like old Mr. Quacksworth, but I think this comes down to the Trojan versus the Buffalo. Can the Buffalo get a good broadside hit in, or do you guys think the Trojan has something?
Boy.
Can he be on horseback? Because that totally changes the dynamic.
I think he's got to be on horseback. He's on horseback on the field.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. I mean, I'm liking the Trojan guy. He's pretty good and pretty intimidating. If he's tone. If he's kind of let himself go over the off season, drinks too much or whatever, then he's going to come out there and he's looking pudgy, and it's not going to have the same effect. And so I think in that case, can I introduce as a third possible candidate here, a meaner looking freaking Arizona State Sun Devil? What is that cartoon head they got on that thing? I mean, we could have what about using the Exorcist mascot? That creature that came to her in her dreams. That was the devil. Use that. It's a lot more intimidating.
I don't know. I will say one thing I'm really disappointed in the Utah. You expect that to be a person, right? No, Swoop the Falcon. That's their mascot.
What is that?
All right. Okay. So who do we like? You think that the USC Trojan with his sword on horseback can take down Ralphie the Buffalo?
Yes.
Bar none. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I mean, Ralphie, he's like a baby buffalo, isn't he? Like he's like small. Yeah.
I think he's pretty large.
He's a couple thousand pounds.
But he's a fat ass buffalo. We're talking about a man of Troy, just lifting weights. Awesome. Forget the skirt and boots. He's got the sword. I'm going with the Trojans here.
As long as we're not going against any fucking wooden horses, we should be fine here. Really.
That's exactly. They haven't had that. They haven't had that down in LA in a while. Okay.
No.
All right, so
Will,
there it is. All right,
Is it unanimous?
let's take it. We'll take
Trojans.
the Trojan on-field mascot. That's our Pac-12 representative. We're going to carry this on next week. I haven't decided what conference we're going to yet, but the Trojan moves on to the finals. And then what I'd like to do is at the end of the year, we have our mascot who would win in a battle royal. And we just settle this once and for all. Maybe we'll send this up to Mike and see what he thinks about it. But for now, I think it's time we move on to a segment I want to call Second and. All right, and here's how this works. We're going to talk about teams that already have one loss. They cannot afford that second loss. If they get that second loss, that season is long gone. All right, and so Dick, this is a segment you came up with. There are two teams here I really want to talk about, and that's Texas and Oregon. If they get that second loss, you might as well say goodbye to the playoff, right? So talk to me about our shot in the 7:30 slot for second and long.
So our shot there, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be Oklahoma State and Texas. I mean, LSU is a great team. Some would say LSU is a top 5 team. If Texas has 2 losses in the Big 12, that's it. They have to play Oklahoma twice. Oklahoma State's had their number for. I think you told me while we were in pre-production, Will, they haven't won in Austin in 10 years.
10
against Oklahoma
years.
State.
Yeah, we're the only school in the country to beat Texas in Texas 5 times in a row. So you can take that. No matter what happens Saturday, they'll never be able to take that away. But I actually, call me crazy, call me a homer, I like our chances. I think we have enough offensive firepower to keep up with Texas. And I think the real key here is going to be the defense. I'm going to call it right now. If the defense gets 2 takeaways, we're winning this game. Put it on the board.
Can I ask a question? Is Mike Gundy trying to change college football back the other way now? Because I felt like Big 12 offense originated in Stillwater with this spread, RPO business, all that's going on right now that is now infected Tuscaloosa because we can't fucking play defense anymore. So what I thought was it originated with the mullet himself, and now it feels like they're playing defense again. I mean, what's your take here? Because, I mean, they're going to need it against Sam Ehlinger.
Yeah, so this happened last year. We brought in Jim from Duke. He puts the 3-3-5 defense in. Here's the problem with the 3-3-5. You're going to give up something on the run. And we saw that in the Tulsa game. They went into the half down 21-20. They decided to take one of their secondary guys, bring him up into the box, and they shut Tulsa out for the rest. And so that was that. So I like what Jim Mills is doing on the defense. I don't think we have the athletes to go. Hold on, we just lost Dick. I don't think we have the athletes in the secondary to keep up with what Duvernay has been doing, what Sam Ehlinger is going to be able to do spreading around the ball.
Yeah.
But that's why I said if we can get some pressure on Ehlinger, if we get 2 takeaways, if we can give the offense 2 more opportunities to score, you have to love what Chuba Hubbard, the nation's leading rusher, and what Tylan Wallace, the nation's leading receiver, have been able to do on offense. Both of them, this is an Oklahoma State team through and through. Incredible offense.
Yeah.
And you just hope your defense does enough to give you another shot. I like Oklahoma State in this game. I'm going to be there. I'll be in the stands. Maybe I'll shoot a little segment from you guys so you can see. This is a sold-out game, prime time and ABC.
Yeah.
I'm stoked.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm intrigued now, and you just sold it so well that this is my number 1 game Saturday, actually. No kidding. I mean, there's so much at stake, and there's a reason why we call this segment what we do. It's because Texas can't lose. They lose it.
Because right now, the LSU loss looks fine. Nobody is really falling. That was
3
a
weeks
great
in.
game.
Yeah,
that was a great game. LSU looks good. Texas looked fine in a loss, if you can call it that. Texas loses to Oklahoma State. They may as well be done.
Yeah, it's over.
You can't be too because then you still have to play OU on neutral field.
And dear Lord, Bedlam becomes true Bedlam at that point.
True Bedlam. And really the best case scenario for Texas is to beat OU and then hope they get to play OU again in a conference championship game. We saw last, they just weren't able to do it twice in a season.
No, it was
this really is
largely a fluke, the first win anyway. But it is now my most compelling game of the weekend. Honestly, there's more at stake here. I feel like Texas A&M Auburn is one thing, but that's more for SEC centralized.
Sure.
This one here, I mean, you're going to effectively take Texas out of the conversation if they were to lose, and Oklahoma State suddenly becomes this team out of nowhere they're the only challenger to Oklahoma at that point. Yeah. So Bedlam becomes the center of the universe, provided they don't slip up along the way.
And you know what? We saw it last year. Oklahoma State looked great against Boise State, had a great win against Texas last year. They were huge underdogs, but then turn around and lose to Kansas State and Baylor and Texas Tech.
Who can't have it.
Right. The chaser in that 7:30 time slot is Oregon at Stanford. This is an interesting game because Oregon gets an opportunity to really show what they're capable of in the Pac-12. And here's my stat of the since 2009, only 2 teams have won 59% or better against the spread. Does that make sense? So their winning percentages is 59% or better against the spread. Name those 2 teams for. I'll make it easy. Both of those 2 teams are in our 7:30 shots and. So of the 4 here, pick the 2 of these 4 who have a 59% or better win percentage against the spread since 2009.
Well, it's not
OSU and Oregon.
What do you think, Dick?
I feel like it's not Utah State, so I'm going to go with.
Nope, we're in 7:30. So Oregon State, Stanford.
So Oklahoma State, Texas, or Oregon, Stanford.
Yeah. Welcome back to the show, by the way.
Probably Stanford. Oh, yeah, sorry. My Wi-Fi just decided to shit the bed.
It happens.
I'm going to go with Stanford.
And?
Texas?
Nope. Stanford and Oklahoma State. So Oklahoma State is 59% against the spread in the last 10 years. Stanford is like 62% against the spread over the last.
That means every 2 bets you win just slightly more than one of them against Vegas.
If I were to go to you 10 years ago and said, "Hey, bet $1,000 on every Stanford game, and in 10 years you'll have made $200,000," would you do that?
I would have also lost $100,000. So I'm not sure if I understand the question.
Fuck off with your logic, Mr. Math, with your Alabama education.
Well, we got to have something to hang our hat on around here, and one of those is our God-fearing right to bet on games. All right, they still don't allow it in this state, by the way, but we do it on the side. Okay.
Yeah. So give me something.
It's interesting.
Give me something to be excited about for this Oregon-Stanford game, because Stanford hasn't really looked great this year. Oregon, they could have beaten Auburn if they would have strung it together. They haven't played anybody since then. Give me a reason to tune into this game.
It's the last shot for the Pac-12 to have a run at the CFP. I'll leave it at that. Oregon is their last shot at it. Everybody else seems to be cannibalizing each other or just tripping over each other either way. But Oregon has to win out.
Okay. So you don't think Utah sitting at number 10 right now could run the table and take Oregon, or no?
I don't think they're legitimate.
All right. Okay. So I can tell you right now, I'm not going to watch this game because I've got better places to be. And so with that, looking at our picks here, let's see what we've got. You guys are all good. Who do you have, Dick, in that Oklahoma State Texas game? You dropped off.
Yeah, sorry about that. I had to reset the Wi-Fi router. Well, I was just going to say that I really, really, really hope that Texas keeps losing to Oklahoma State. I hope it's bad.
I wonder why.
Yeah, no reason. It's going to be hard for Texas to make not only the CFP, to make a New Year's Six bowl. I think if they lose this, I mean, God, what's the one beneath the Cotton Bowl or the Sugar Bowl for the Big 12? I mean, they're going to be in the
Alamo.
First Responders Bowl or the Alamo.
The Alamo Bowl is legitimate. Don't discount the Alamo.
It's a good
I
bowl.
wonder if Oklahoma State played them
You're
up.
thinking of the old defunct Poulan Weed Eater Bowl, I think. I'm not sure. I don't know.
It's going to be hard for Texas to get in a top-tier bowl if they lose this game.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
I mean, I'm praying that they won't win. But I would love to see A&M in the Sugar Bowl and Texas somewhere in the fucking oblivion. But that's just me. That's good TV.
Call me crazy.
Maybe you guys should play Texas again if you're gonna have such strong feelings, and don't talk to me until you guys are ready to put them back on the.
Maybe when they beat Oklahoma.
Oh,
Because we did it last time we met them.
okay. Hey, we have to do it every week. We carve out just a little bit of time for our least favorite conference. Ash, you've got the honors this week. Let's head over into the Pac-12 seconds. For those who don't know,
I mean, I really thought I did this due diligence that we do every week when I covered Oregon, Stanford.
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, tomorrow night, USC at Utah.
Whoa. Hold on. We're gonna reset the game clock. There. We're gonna go ahead.
Another segment.
We're gonna. Oh yeah. Sorry.
End of segment.
We gotta do it right. Okay. So for those at home who don't know how, we're gonna carve out 12 seconds for the Pac-12. These are the Pac-12 seconds. Ash, you have the honors. Get the clock out there, ready to go, and go.
Okay, I'll just go back to the fact that I've already talked about Oregon, Stanford, and I felt like that was kind of covering the bases, and we could just move on to more important things like what I'm wearing tomorrow, or what the weather's going to be and stuff. But nevertheless, does Oregon State still play football?
Shut it down. Nope. Your 12 seconds are over.
Okay.
Welcome back. Let's move on to more important things. Hey, let's get there to real quick. Gonna get through these 10:30 shots and shades very quickly. Our shot, Utah State at San Diego State. San Diego State allowing just 8 points per game, but Utah State is coming off a bye with ample time to prepare. And here's a great stat for you. Utah State is 8-0 in their last 8 games after a bye week. So what do you guys like?
Whoa.
This idea that Utah State is killing it after bye weeks, or San Diego State is not letting anybody put points on the board? What do you guys have for your pick?
Man, great late night TV, that's for sure, man. That really sounds compelling. I mean, I don't give a damn about either program. But I mean, the bottom line is that, I mean, that's some phenomenal stats right there. I think it'll be really competitive. Give me San Diego State because it's at their house. I think the Aztecs get it by 6.
Yeah. You want to talk about some real late night television? I got Colorado, Arizona State in this chaser game. Guys, this is one of those turn out the lights, get under the blanket, Cinemax style. When you get real burn, you got all the lights are out and everybody, you're listening for your parents or your wife. This is
Will, how do you watch football?
Differently than us, but I like I said the other day, Cinemax was scrambled at my house, so all I could do was like imagine based on the moaning. So I'm going to imagine based on the moaning in this game between Colorado and Arizona State that people are enjoying themselves.
Yeah, this game will probably be scrambled too. It's on the Pac-12 network, so you may have to find an illegal stream for that. So it may not be a pretty view either way. Who do you like in this game, though?
I mean, this is going to be really tough because if you look at Colorado, they've played hard up until Air Force, that is. They've played really hard all season, except when it mattered the most, when the country was, well, no, I guess the country was watching Nebraska, but when absolutely nobody was watching, they found a way to drop the ball. I mean, really, I like Arizona State here. I think Herm Edwards is one hell of a coach, and that's kind of a meme answer, but I do think he's going to keep Colorado.
No, it's not. Props to him. I mean, he's building something down there, and this is the team we haven't talked about in the Pac-12 South.
It's
because we don't talk about any teams in the Pac-12.
Sorry, my fault. Yeah.
I think it's going to be a little bit of a lower scoring game, kind of like what we saw with Michigan State or Arizona State last week. I think he's, kind of like Muhammad Ali. He's going to do that rope-a-dope a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to wear Colorado out. And at the end of the day, I think Arizona State's going to eke out the win here. And it's only going to be by, field goal.
Man, I like it.
I mean, this is a big game. This is a conference game, and we're really getting into that part of the season now where these teams are starting to play each other, and the conference pictures are really starting to take shape. So I dig it. I like it. So let's recap for the viewers: shots and chasers this week. We'll go down the line. We've got Cal Ole Miss, who's our producer pick there. I think we've got Ole Miss. All right, I'm pretty good with that. I think we all are. Michigan, Wisconsin. Let's keep it rolling. Michigan's got the pick. I think that's kind of where we were. I think Wyoming is going to be our good pick on this next one. Nobody really felt. Man, Caleb really hitting us hard there.
Oklahoma's second favorite team.
Wait a minute now. You know, I will, to Tulsa's credit, at least the Tulsa fans at the game probably went to Tulsa as opposed to that school down in Norm. So.
That's a true point there. Yeah.
All right,
from the Alabama fan.
Washington, BYU.
I was about to say, does the same dynamic exist in Oklahoma that does in Alabama? The smart people that wear Auburn probably went to Auburn. The people that went to Alabama might have went to Alabama, but probably just lived in a trailer park.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah. You get the T-shirt fans in Oklahoma. Those are the OU ones that are rooting probably went there.
Got it.
All right,
Moving along.
Keep it rolling. Caleb, who do you have for us for your pick? Washington over BYU. You're feeling really nice on the Pac-12. All right, shots and chasers for 7 o'clock. The big game of the night, Oklahoma State, Texas. Caleb, lay it on us right now. What do you got? Oh, wait a minute. Throws the curveball. Oregon pick over Stanford. This is not good news for us. All right, we've got the pick Stanford.
Technical. It's coming along.
All right, I see what you've done there. Okay, so no matter who wins this CU Texas game, I think OU is the real winner in your mind.
Man, he's taking the low road there.
So we do own the bias here. Caleb, big Oklahoma fan. We go round and round. I have to concede that Bedlam doesn't go the way it is, but that's why we play Texas every year, so we can get a big quality win for the program. All right,
so you picked Oklahoma over everyone, and they're not even in the game.
Well, yeah.
All right, funny guys. What do you have for us in the 10 o'clock? Hit us real quick with your picks for the 10 o'clock chase. San Diego State and Arizona State. Awesome.
There we go.
Cool. All right.
I like that one.
Caleb, why don't you go ahead and take the next week off? We'll give you some time to think about what you've done to my Cowboys. We're gonna close this out like we do every week. Let's talk about Sunday storylines.
So can I just say, I'm gonna bust in here. This is the voice of the producer. How you guys want to talk shit about T-shirt fans at OU? Number one, I did go to OU. I would like to point that out first of all. Mikey, the other OU fan that does this show, is currently going to OU.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes, indeed.
Yeah, but I would like to point out, since we're going to talk about OU really quickly, I would just like to point out that we have an A&M fan in a polo, an Oklahoma State fan in a T-shirt, and we have a fucking Nick Saban protege in a goddamn three-piece suit on the show, just like fucking Jalen Hurts in all of his interviews.
You know what? Trash talking has just gone to new astronomical levels tonight. Thank you for that.
I would say cut his mic, but he's the one who does that.
Yeah.
So cut your own mic.
Yeah, he's the man behind the curtain. You know, this is the first show we finally gave props to the producer, and he comes off the top rope at us like this. All right.
This whole show is run by the wizard you just heard behind the curtain, and we're props to him by 1,000%. If I had anything else to drink, I'd tip it to him, but I'm just shit out here. So,
yeah. Cheers to you, Caleb. All right, Sunday storylines, Ash. When you wake up Sunday morning, what's going to be the top story, man?
Yeah, I mean, really, to me, we didn't cover it to the length that I wanted to hear it. Maybe I missed it. I don't know. It could have been a refill time. But I just want to know if Willie Taggart loses another, can he get through this season without being shown the door? I just don't think Tallahassee's going to put up.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens if Willie goes 3 here in his first 4, because you play those non-conference games to win, and then you got Louisville, who joke of the ACC last year. That's a great storyline. We'll keep an eye on it. Dick, what's your Sunday storyline?
For me, it's going to be how I don't want to say how the college football media in 1 week fell in love with Cal, a team that was in the Cheez-Its
the
Bowl.
Whole Big 12, they fell in love with 6 teams.
Cheez-Its are great.
6 teams in the Big 12 are ranked this week. Unbelievable.
That's
They-
pretty.
Go ahead.
So with Cal, they were in the Cheez-Its Bowl this time last year. Nobody thought they were a good team. Jared Goff was kind of the outlier.
Mhm.
It's Aaron Rodgers, Jared Goff, and that's it.
Yeah.
At least from an SEC fan's point of view. And how through the Pac-12 cannibalizing itself year after year after year, suddenly Cal is it. It's not Oregon. It's not Washington. It's not even Utah.
No.
Mm.
No, it's Cal. Cal's who we're all hyped around. And even though they're not ranked as highly as, let's say, Utah, that this is who everybody thinks is going to trend upward. Everyone's buying Cal stock right now. I think it's going to come crashing down. I think they're going to get beat by Ole Miss, probably narrowly.
Yeah.
And we're all going to wonder how we fell for it.
All right.
That's
Well,
good point. Great point.
I promise to give you guys a reaction video from the stands at DK week. I'll be there with my family, just stoked
Awesome.
to watch what I think is going to be a great game. And so I really enjoyed this, guys. I love doing this. With you guys every week. Caleb, was that you? Are you chiming in again? Okay. All right. I'll fix this in post. Hey, one thing before we go, guys. We have got an incredible announcement for the From the Stands crew. Red River Shootout live from the Texas State Fair. Guys, we are gonna be there.
It's gonna be awesome.
We just
man.
heard back from the Texas State Fair crew. They've got us set up with credentials. We're gonna be filming from the State Fair on Friday night.
Fucking mistake.
Dick, how stoked are you for this?
That's gonna be awesome.
I am half-mast right now. It's just, oof.
Yeah, hey, stay tuned for more on that. But we just want to let you guys know, tune in live on Friday night before the Red River. We're going to be there at the fair. I'm not going to be there, guys, because I've got bigger things going on in College Station the next morning.
Is there anything larger than the Red River Shootout that weekend?
Yeah.
Literally?
That game is zero,
Maybe
zero
there is
time.
ass.
And,
Are you pulling for structural failure of the facility? Is that what you're saying?
yeah, just cancel the game. Maybe we'll get some kind of natural disaster.
You're gonna
it'll
watch
just be
MASH
a
reruns
forfeited
or
game.
something? What's going on?
Hey, I was gonna wait and drop this on you. I've got field passes for Auburn A&M, so you guys enjoy Dallas. I'm gonna be living Dick's. So
Gotcha.
I think he just muted himself.
He did it on purpose. It wasn't accidental.
Yeah, no, we lost Dick, so I think he dropped off, and that's enough for us to sign off from the stands. I'm Will. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks a lot.